Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media. I am your anchorman, Mike Morales, here in sunny Southern California. That gentleman out there is.
I'm your wingman, Rick Levy, also in sunny Southern California.
He is my co-anchor, and together we're just anchored where we're at. But if you've been following us, you know that we have been dissecting and really actually enjoying this new line from Cierto Tequila. This is the Reserve collection, not to be confused with the private collection, which I did. I got confused. I thought this was the same juice. Why are they sending it to us? Come to find out, there's a reason why they sent it to us because it's not the same stuff. It starts with the same stuff. I think after the first three, the Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo, I think we've come to the conclusion that they started with the base recipe of the stellar, collection, the original collection, and said, and as you put it to
And they're
me,
marrying each one with something special.
exactly. So they weren't even going after the tequila so much as they were going after an experience.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they've done so far. So this is the extra añejo. I'm gonna pour mine, and we're just gonna pour the juice and
Ooh,
luxuriate in the legs
that
and
had a
teeth
head on it.
and the bubbles. Wow. I've all of these. I have not seen bubbles and foam like this. I can't tell you how long it's been.
The body on these I keep saying it. It's unbelievable.
Jeez. Oh my God. I'm gonna use a Sergio Bormioli
Ooh,
for this one, which is the top.
nice choice.
Yeah, well, you know, you're using the Stasso
I've got the Stas El Jarrito for
or
tequila. This is
tequila.
actually one of the prototypes.
Ah, you got
It's
the
got the heavier glass.
heavier base. Yeah, okay. All right. Really, when you talk about Stasso Jarritos, that's old school now. You're looking at the old school prototype, which I have. Those are almost exclusively what I'm using. I do have a new version, but we'll see what we can do about upgrading those. Now look at the color on this. Oh, look at the color on yours. See, look at the yeah. For
I
some
think my
reason,
camera's still doing something to it.
no, but
It's like this
look,
brassy amber.
yes. Oh my God, the legs and tears on this
I
thing,
think it's a better color's a better representation on your camera.
which is odd because I got so much sunshine coming through my window, and you can see the ring light, and I actually have an overhead light, but nobody can see that. The legs and tears on, by the way, every expression had legs and tears that just wouldn't quit.
Yeah, extremely slow. That
Well, that is the body, the structure, the mouth feel. That's what we're looking at that, anticipating what it's going to feel feel like in our on our palate, on our tongue. I mean, look at you can tell by the look on Rick's lenses that it's going to just turn blue.
it's just legs and tears forever. Like with the others, we were, when the legs and tears would finally fall, we'd be left with this constellation of pearls around the glass. And we're not even getting there yet because these things are just taking so long.
Yeah, that's all natural. That is not it's not enhanced in any way. Your tequila's not on PEDs. That's just lovely. And the color on this is really, you're right. It's like a brassy amber. It's got some red highlights in it, which I dig, which gives me the impression before we go into the notes and the flavor notes and the POS and how it's being made. If it's brassy like this, chances are this has also been aged in a wine barrel or blended from stuff that's been aged in a wine barrel because each one of these we've come to discover are blended. It's like they took the base recipes of the private collection and said, how can we amp this up even more? And I'm probably using the wrong descriptors for it, because amping it up, how do we make it even more special than the first special? And the first was special all day long. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Any of those on the private collection, all day long. Great gift for the holidays coming up. But if you want to, so far for the first three expressions, if you want to hoard any of these for yourself, when you're talking about a celebratory tequila, all three of these, any expression would work for you. Okay, what are you getting on the nose? Because I'm still getting some of that fruitiness right on the very top.
What kind of fruit? Because I'm
Um,
thinking maybe some dried cherry.
it's almost, I would say, ripe to overripe. I wouldn't say dry. Does that make
Mm,
sense?
yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay. Like a moist, ripe cherry, as opposed to a dry plum, like a prune or a dried cherry, more, the stuff that you get in your fruit cake that circulates through in the holidays. I'm talking about a real good fruit cake. All right. There's only one that I know of, and it comes out of Georgia, and I love it. Yeah, because I'm not getting any over dryness like some extra añejos. This still feels like I would say overripe fruit, but still not to the point where it's dried out.
What about like maybe some cacao?
Cacao, you mean?
Cacao.
I'm not sure. I'm not getting that out of this glass. Could be you're getting it more out of your glass than I'm getting it out of mine. I don't, to me, that top layer right now is all fruit. And again, minimal alcohol. Minimal. Oh man.
But not necessarily the presentation of agave that we saw in the other expressions.
Yeah, not yet. I mean, if you're not getting it, I know I'm not getting it. This is
But it is an XA, you know.
right.
Typically you would expect by the time you're getting to an XA, a 48-month XA, that, you're really there for the wood.
Well, yeah, aren't we all? Now, see, this has got that deeper nose on it where you were talking about like leather and bordering on tobacco. I just got that right now.
Yeah. I think I know what that is, but I won't tell you yet.
Okay. I was going to ask you, but I don't want to, don't reveal it to me yet. Okay.
After we taste it, after
Yeah.
we taste it.
Taste it. Each one of these has a lovely nose from the Blanco all the way down to this one. You could spend 25 minutes just nosing every expression and just pulling stuff out, and letting it evolve again, letting it sit and then go back to it. And honestly, folks, I got to tell you, use this technique. Don't be afraid about what you're going to look like. Breathe with your mouth open, like that
And
snow,
no
like the snow
alcohol
leopard.
off of this either.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get any, you just breathe through your nose in the center of the glass and you get a hint of the alcohol, not even a lot. I might have to start calling that the snow leopard technique. I can just hear Richard Attenborough in the background going, yeah, the snow leopard is sniffing the air, tasting its prey before it goes for it.
The snow leopard stalks its
It's
tequila.
toxic tequila. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out a snow leopard. They are one of the few cats that when they breathe, when they're hunting prey, they breathe the air with their mouth open because they can literally taste the prey before they can hunt it down and kill it. This one's not ripe yet. This one's still too young. I'm going to go after its mother. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a snow leopard. I just breathe like one. I say let's dive in. Let's go. Let's see
All
what we
right.
can. Here we go. Mm. Mm. Oh my God. Mm. Oh, I'm not even going to spit it out. I'm sorry. I got mint. I got mint. There's some herbaceousness that was not there with the añejo and the reposado. That was cool.
To be getting herbaceousness on an XA is pretty incredible.
No kidding. Wow. What an eye opener. You know, it went from like anise and the blanco to fennel.
Mm.
So it was like a mint, some fennel. Um, I didn't get the rye like I did with the añejo, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was in here. So you tell me what the blend is because I know you're gonna surprise.
All right. So from the point of sale material, the brochure that came with it, the Extra Añejo is an indulgent blend of 4 ultra-aged batches of Extra Añejos distilled in both alembic and column stills, matured in a combination of French oak, dark oak, and white oak, previously holding rare European red wines, cognacs, and armagnacs.
Okay, I have very little experience with a cognac. I have no experience with an armagnac. Alex does. He's just Alex and Eric and probably Jim. Those are my three guys who have a much wider palate. I'm so totally focused with agave spirits.
I think I'm picking up the red wine and the cognac.
Yeah, but they don't mention the rye, which I thought was in here.
No, the rye's not in here.
Now the
Yeah.
rye's not in here. That is spectacular. Who has, you know, I say this a lot when I see like toys out of Japan or China or stuff that's so complicated or like furniture from IKEA. There's got to be some
Who
guy.
comes up with this shit?
Yeah, exactly. Some guy in jail somewhere in like somebody in jail who designed this because he's got all the time in the world and he's nuts. It's like who comes up with this stuff? How do you sit one day and go, I'm going to screw with people's olfactory senses. I'm going to see that barrel over there. Bring me that barrel. It's like, oh my God. How twisted, how insane and twisted and mean are you that you do this to a tequila? You do this to us. Because
Yeah,
there aren't that, dude,
I
there
think
aren't
it's a
that,
beautiful tequila.
oh, it is. But there aren't that many people that can appreciate this.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean,
It's almost, it really is like almost like this line is designed for people who are not specialists in tequila, people who have that broader range of spirits experience.
there's this lovely bitterness. It does remind me of the rye uh, finish, but 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 it's drier and fruitier. It tastes like that rye, but rye is a grain. This one,
Yeah.
you got that fruitiness from all the wine barrels. What do you say? Cognac, Armagnac, and what else?
And red wine.
Red wine. Those are that's those are all grapes or grape skins.
Yeah.
So it's all grape based. And that's what the bitterness is there, but then it the
I'm still getting that dry tanginess we talked about before
yes,
that I was saying, was like olive or brine.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't get that in the Blanco. It wasn't like I said, the Blanco to me is not reminiscent of Lapis the way I remember Lapis. But um but it's certainly there. I mean, oh my God, Rick, this is spectacular. And you know what else I'm going to tell you? I'll be honest. I'll be upfront. If you look at all my bottles, yes, I've had a little bit of each, but I don't dissect them, and I admit that. I don't use these are my tools. Okay, so this is not the glassware that I use when I just want to enjoy tequila because I'm working in the middle of the night, I'm writing something up, I'm doing whatever, and I just want a tequila to cap off my night. And sometimes I wake up in
Yeah.
front of my computer, but I will tell you that an irregular snifter, don't do that to yourself, folks. Get yourself a real tasting glass because these qualities I did not get in a regular snifter. And I'm talking about, the little, what are they, 5 ounce, 4 ounce, maybe 6 ounce snifters. Doesn't do it justice. Get yourself a jarrito, get yourself one of these, spend the money on a nice glass that's made for this stuff because I didn't get any of these
Or even,
nuances.
you could go with a Glencairn whiskey
Oh yeah,
glass. That's a
but I mean,
fantastic tool.
yeah, and Glencairns are very affordable right now, especially on Amazon, and very versatile. I will say that Glencairns are great for blancos as well. Same company as a Stotzel. They make the jarrito as well, so they're incestuously related. But I gotta say, I didn't get any of this. None of the nuances, nothing. As a matter of fact, if I'm going to be honest, I was thinking to myself, wow, this one really fell flat on its face. Again,
Hmm.
not taking any notes, just making my own, coming up with my own opinions. And I didn't do this in one night. I mean, one night I did this, 3, 4 nights later I had the reposado, 5 nights later whatever. And I thought, wow, this extra añejo just kind of it was too soft. It fell flat on his face. I was ready to say that. I didn't get any of these nuances from that snifter.
And and I think maybe there's something to be said about how it develops in the bottle after it's been opened too.
Yeah, but the glassware for me is even more important. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times you and I have had glassware that we basically just took the seal off. I mean, tequilas or mezcals or whatever. We just basically took the seal off camera just before we go on. And we get, instantly if we're using the right glassware, we're getting the nuances and the flavors and the aromas that we're expecting or we're not expecting. But I gotta say, especially for this one, if you're using the wrong glassware, you're not gonna be as impressed as if you're using a better glass. So stick with a better
Right.
glass.
And if you look at Mike's Bormioli there, and then you look at my Harito, and then you look at a Glencairn, you can see the similarities in the geometry that's really making the difference. You have this, wide bowl at the bottom that allows the aromas to develop within the glass and then get focused through a narrow column.
And they generally have almost exactly the same mouth surface. So we call them mouth surface. Okay. It's not too narrow. It's not wide like the jarritos for higher proofs and mezcals that I like using for reposados. It's the so you know it and
Oh, and talking about the mouth surface, something I really hate about the Riedel is how it's it has kind of like this raised edge as you're pouring the spirit into your mouth. So it's almost like it's getting agitated as it's going into your mouth.
yeah, it's getting
And
like
that's something I didn't
it's
like
like
about
getting
that.
aerated. like
Yeah.
it's getting like an extra layer of aeration before it goes in your mouth, which
Yeah.
is annoying.
But with these, it lets it slide onto the palate.
Well, I mean, this is crystal, and it's not Glencairn is a crystal. The Jarrito is made out of crystal glass, versus the the prototypes were made from a thicker glass. And that was something that Romeo, the gentleman Romeo Ristov, who designed the Jarritos, wasn't totally in love with. But those were the prototypes. They come in a thicker glass, and you have to experiment, I guess. Learning from him how he had experimented with the glasses in the samples he sent out to us and others, is that the thinner the glass, the sturdier the crystal, the better the aromas and flavors were presented in the final, in the ingestion. And this is Italian glass. It's Italian crystal, and it's etched beautifully. It's etched in the Pepito version of the Craftsman in Guadalajara. I mean, these were sent to me by Romeo Ristov, who developed the Jarrito before he passed away.
Mhm.
And if you're looking for Jarritos and what we're talking about, go check out Chisholm Trail Craft Glasses. You can find him on Instagram. His son, Thomas Ristov, has taken over the company and has done a great job with bringing it forward to the rest of the agave community and anybody else that's interested in really dissecting a great tequila. So go check them out online. We hope to be able in fact, I interviewed Thomas years ago, a few years ago on Open Bar, so you can find that interview on our YouTube channel. But we're hoping that we can come up with something where we can collaborate together now that he's fully taken control of the company, and more people are discovering what Rick and I have known for a few years, actually, prior to, well, just before Romeo passed away, before Mr. Ristov. But so these are special. I don't break these out for just anybody. And I got to tell you, I was not impressed initially with this Extra Añejo. I thought it fell flat on its face, but I was wrong. It does require the right glassware. That's that's what I'm going to say about that. So there you go. Mm,
You want to know the price point?
of course I do. Of course I want a heart attack now. Go ahead.
So the MSRP on this is 389, but again, Old Town will give you a $30 discount and you can get it for 360.
You know what? All
Or
day
you could
long.
make a car payment.
Or you can skip your car payment. What the fuck? Oh shit. Sorry, but Brand of Promise nominee in this Extra Añejo category. I can't say enough about this. It is a stellar line, worth every single penny. But again, my caveat to you guys, especially the XA dudes and dudettes, get the right glassware. Because if you just take a plain old snifter, you're gonna miss everything.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't even think that this is even. I wouldn't even pair this with a cigar. I would do that with the añejo. I wouldn't do it with this one. You could, but I wouldn't. I think you'd be hard pressed because there's so much fruitiness and less leather and tobacco and cacao than what I'm used to in some of the XAs.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Mm. I got nothing else to say. I'm dumbfounded. The whole line, spectacular. And if you haven't seen the original reviews of the private collection, go check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. You'll see these probably before the end of the year, maybe sooner. If our production half of the company gets on the ball. But anyway, that's our take. It's a Brand of Promise nominee. Just, oh my God, just go get it. Just go spend the money, bite the bullet, save up for a couple of months, treat yourself. This is really one of those tequilas, Rick, that you would not gift. You could,
Yeah.
but this would be the ones that I would give to myself. And like you said at the very beginning of the Blanco review of this reserve collection, what they were going for wasn't a logical progression. What they were going for was a separate experience of each one. And that's exactly what
Right.
it is. If you're a Blanco person, you like martinis, stick with that Blanco. If you're a Repo person and you're looking for a surprise, go there. I say if you're a cigar guy, really like those bowl cigars, you're one of those guys that has like 2 of them a day, and I don't know where you find the time, stick with the Añejo. The XA, that's celebratory. That's one of those you make a toast. That's one of those you hoard and you bring out, very sparingly. Uh, what can I tell you? And
Yeah.
300, it's a steal for the quality that you're getting. All those prices, just get them at Old Town too, by the way, because that's got to be the best price in the world right now. Otherwise, you can buy it on their website and get that case that I go back to the Blanco review and look at the case that I showed on camera. That thing, the last time I saw something like that, it had camera equipment, and
Yeah.
and it was like silver or something. And even then, when you check it in, it's gonna be searched. TSA is gonna look at that and go, "What is that?" And it's got the foam in it. You can see the pictures of it on our Instagram for Tequila Aficionado. It's got the molded foam, so it's got spaces for all 4 bottles. I mean, this thing is, you look like a sniper when you're walking with this thing.
It's
So
pretty serious hardware.
yeah, and it weighs a ton with all 4 bottles. Right now, it doesn't weigh anything because it's just it's very fairly light plastic and foam. But you put the bottles back in it, and it weighs a ton. I don't know
Yeah.
where I'm going to put
Well,
this.
these glass
Yes,
is so heavy.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy heavy. Be careful, but it does look like I mentioned this in the earlier review. I used to sell lighting. It reminds me of the lamps that I used to sell called Stiffle. They were brass lamps. It looked just like this, and they were classic. It was like a Tiffany, Tiffany and Stiffle. And chandeliers that were Austrian crystal. None of that Chinese stuff. This is an Austrian crystal that or I know I digress. There are certain chandeliers that we used to sell, and some of them were called Maria Teresa, which was not as prism like, but they were more French. Uh, any kind of crystal. So this is not recycled glass. That's all I can tell you. This is some heavy stuff. But anyway, that's our take. I'm Mike Morales here in the San Gabriel Valley of Southern California. That guy out there is.
Rick Levy in the San Pasqual Valley of Southern California.
You've been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like, and whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.